Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of CADS After Match Chat. What a game we just witnessed. Tottenham Hotspur have once again showcased their dominance, securing a momentous victory in the latest London derby against Crystal Palace. That is now four London derbies, five London derbies, I'm not sure. But with this win, we have actually just extended our lead to a staggering 5 points at the top of the Premier League table. We are setting the pace. So whether you're still buzzing from the adrenaline of the match or eager to delve into the tactical intricacies that led to Tottenham's triumph, this is the place to be. Join us as our team here dissect the goals and saves, the cock-ups, and occasional moments of brilliance, Bentancur. As always, afterwards, while watching, please feel free to enter any comments you've got, and we will take a look and like and subscribe. It helps us all out. And together, we will all bask in the glory of Tottenham Hotspur. I am your host, Stuart Woodrow, and I invite you all to come and discuss Spurs, the team setting the Premier League on fire. How was that? Let's start with James, a new member of the team.
I'd like to, before we move on, I'd just like to congratulate you on your very professional intro. I really enjoy these intros. It sounds like
I'm working on it, you know.
I shouldn't be. I just can't help myself. That's so professional sounding. I think we don't deserve you, Stu. We really don't. So go on, James.
No, absolutely. I agree completely with that, with every word. It's very impressive. I was like, oh my word, I've got to be coherent and say something interesting, which is probably unlikely. But that was fantastic. That was. I felt that, their goal came out of nowhere, really, because I felt that we were very much suddenly kind of cruising and quite happy with things. So it was just it's like it's Friday night, and the Spurs are 5 points clear. It's fantastic.
It's a good start to the weekend, isn't it? When that happens, which hasn't happened in ever. I think I can't ever remember a Friday night where we're top in the league. So. Not on a Friday night match, anyway.
Yeah. Well, apparently it's the first time for 5 points.
Who was the man of the match? Who do we think the man of the match was?
I didn't catch it.
I didn't catch who it was. My vote would be to Shithouse Supreme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. I'm
sure everyone knows exactly who I'm talking about when I say
Romero, of course.
The Romero Dyad. That was amazing. It's like 100.
I've got it as Pape Matis.
He was also very, very good tonight.
Yeah, I thought Saw was everywhere in that second half. Down the channels, through the middle. I thought he was fantastic. What a talent for 21 years old.
Didn't make a huge impression on me, but Vicario maybe. I don't think we played particularly well in general. It's a classic Roy Hodgson game in the sense that we really struggled to get going and do much because they just nullified us and kicked us all over the park. It was very difficult. But I think the standout moments were probably from Vicario because of the way that he passed the ball backwards and forwards to Romero for about 20 minutes in the second half, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, I love that.
That was ridiculous.
I have not seen a opposition crowd get so frustrated by some simple passing.
I would have to assume that they're annoyed at Hodgson because the message from the Spurs players was come and get it. Come and get it.
And they weren't.
I think it's a mark of respect. They were so scared to give up space even on the edge of our box because of what we could do to them. So,
and we did it on the second goal. So
did it.
Yeah, I mean, they're right to be scared. But yeah, I can, like I said, there's no point in booing us for that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, exactly right. The fact is that as soon as they did come and press a little bit, and we managed to pass out very easily and then transfer straight into some sort of attack. So they were, in a way, they were right not to, but perhaps they gave us too much time to set up as well. But absolutely,
they're not up to playing in the way that they need to be able to. I think that's part of the problem. Like Hodgson's got them set up for this sort of boring, containment game, and they don't have another plan. I mean, but being kind to them, let's say they stand off and wait for their opportunity, and they had a couple of free kicks that they didn't really deserve. and they did have some opportunities at the end. But at the same time, I just think we're also entitled to play the ball around. So there's no point in booing us for it or getting shirty about it. It's just that's your game plan. You don't complain about it.
I think if we're going to be fair to Crystal Palace here, we've got to look and say their two best players were out. Easy and Ollie say both. Neither of them were going to play in this game. They're both injured, both out for it, and it would have been a very, very different game if they'd been available, because they are very, very good players who can make a difference to any side. I mean, we've been linked to both of them in the past, and I was a bit disappointed myself that we didn't get Eze. So,
yeah, he's fabulous.
We were just before Matt came on and we started recording. We were talking about Romero and about how he's changed since last season. First of all, the other guys were great. A was right about Sarr and some of the other players, but there's something about his attitude, the way he has changed. Messi called him the best defender in the world, and you know what? Maybe he is that. Plus, he's got that attitude. He's got that RG attitude that I mentioned earlier, that Poch complained about that when we lost to Juve in that Champions League tie, and said that we didn't know how to practice the dark arts. So I think, apart from his skill, on-field skill, his attitude, I think, was brilliant by Ange to name him vice captain, and it has roped him in a bit. And I actually think he's leading by example. He's fantastic. And I love the shithousery as well.
Actually, do you have anything in particular in mind for during the game? What moments of Romero did you particularly enjoy?
Well, actually, shithousery, I think the guy hit him in the back and he was holding the back of his head. And I went, oh, that's really good, And he was down for a bit. No, just
he was holding his face at one point as well. I don't think he got caught in the face either. Right.
But his passing is underplayed, because I think his passing is terrific. And just his calmness under pressure, and I think it keeps some of the other players who might lose their head a bit, which is surprising. Remember Alexander Lang, one of our CADs, last year? He was like, get rid of Romero, do this, do that. He's a liability and whatever. And I'm going, well, he isn't now, So I think his general play, and I think it's spreading to the team. There's a certain confidence in what he does, and I love it.
He's definitely taking responsibility. I mean, I think that he's cut down on some of the shithousery. I think particularly in the clattering, like he's not clattering people as much. I think he's sort of toned down. I think he was getting frustrated last season, so he's not like taking people out in the same way as he was. Right. And I think it's clear that it wasn't really much of a game plan so much as frustration. But what he's doing now is just great. And sure, there are moments when he's sort of holding his face if it wasn't hit in the face and stuff. But I think the bit that's outstanding is just right. His quality is his play. I still don't think he's our best centre back this season, and I don't think he was our best centre back today. I think he's great at organising and taking control, but I still find my jaw dropping at the things that Van der Ven does, because he's got all those qualities apart from leadership, but he's just lightning fast with it, which he
was very good today. He was very, very good today. Some of the backtracking, the tackles, the blocks were amazing.
And he was absolutely bricking it when he went down injured.
Right, I was terrified.
And to be fair, Royal Dino made the difference to me in the second half, because I thought Davies at left back was still playing the traditional left back role, and that left a hole in the midfield where the fullback inverts to. And even though Royal is right-footed, he took up those positions, and he just gave us an extra man to pass to, and he did simple things with it. And then he almost had an amazing assist when he pitched up on the right somehow for Johnson, who could have gone for goal, and his defending all in all was pretty good. So I thought it was a really good move from Ange to get Royal on. I'm not going to be harsh on Davies because he hasn't played for a long time, and I think that is something that if you haven't played in this system for a long time, you may struggle.
I thought that Ben Davis's positioning was really weird, and I had high hopes that he would do better. I actually think that Ben Davis is a reasonably good fit for this position. I quite like it when he plays inside in a sort of quarter space, just in between the natural left back and centre back roles up and down the pitch. I think he's actually quite good at that. But he was way over. Like, he was playing too high and too central, like in the centre circle at times. It's just like, I don't think he quite knows what to do in the role yet. Maybe it looked weird. Like, he wasn't offering enough passing options in that sort of quarter space on that side of the pitch. It sort of went missing. So maybe it was that. That was the bit that confused me. Otherwise, I thought he was all right.
I thought he was okay,
but I think that made the decision.
Yeah,
I think that made the difference. And sorry, you go ahead.
Yeah, go on.
I thought that was exactly what you said made the difference, and that just talks to the tactical aspect of how he wants us to play. It made a huge difference just with a fullback taking up the correct position, and he recognized that, I think, and props to him for changing it.
I felt that it was just a little bit forced from Davis. It's like he knew the positions he needed to be in, but he didn't seem to understand the role in a way that someone like Destiny does. But I mean, it's very difficult because Destiny's such a good player. But when Royale came on, he seemed to have a much better understanding of what he needed to do. But also, he's not been suffering from injury because Ben Davis has been out of training for a little while. So, I thought it was a good move. I thought it was a sensible move, even though it was bringing a right-footed coming over and play on the left. He's filled that position. But also, because he's playing inverted, he does actually come in and gets to play off his right foot anyway, so that still works. I think maybe we didn't get the forward runs that we had with Davis, because Davis was actually pushing forward quite a lot in that first half. But, Royale's not going to do that for us.
Yeah, but it was like Davis was not just making those runs, like he was starting too high. And I think that, what was happening in the previous game was that Maddison was coming deep so that he could go up. But Davis just seemed to stay up quite a lot and start from high up, which I thought was the weird part.
We lost James. They went, okay. Yeah. But we have been joined by Austin. Hey, Austin, how you doing?
Yeah.
Austin is once again having microphone issues.
One thing I wanted to ask about what you guys think is, what did they do well that they were stifling us? The commentary here in the US, we had a couple of English guys on halftime. They were showing highlights of how Hughes was staying close to Bissouma and was clattering him. Yeah. And I think that was one of the elements that made a difference, is that he was just preventing Bissouma from doing what he often does. I also think Bissouma was being very cagey on the fact he was on a yellow card, and I think it affected his game overall, because he will now play against Chelsea. So I'm interested what you guys think about what Hodgson was doing, the clever man that he is, that was stifling us in the first half.
I mean, I think you've definitely got it, part of it there, right? I mean, I noticed right from kickoff that they had two attackers who were just occupying Bissouma, and they weren't attempting to press the back line at all. No. So that's very similar to what I've almost already forgot. Fulham were doing the same thing. Teams seem to have decided, like, if you're not going to press us, they pick their moments to press. But when we got the ball in the back line, they just let us have it. And they tried to cut down the passing avenues out and press, have like a mid-block. And so I think that's part of what they were doing, but also it's just old-fashioned clattering. They were just kicking us all over the park. It was pretty brutal. They seemed to, I think they judged the ref reasonably well, and they could see that he wasn't giving yellow cards, and it was just an open invitation to just keep on kicking us.
Yeah, the foul on Maddison was particularly bad, I thought. I mean, the Van de Ven one wasn't good. It was clumsy. The second one, on Maddison, the player thought there was a yellow card coming because he was admit straight over and he was like, "You're right, buddy." He was checking Madison, making sure he was okay. So, he was doing the thing that players do when they don't want to get booked and they know it's coming. And how the ref didn't give out a yellow card till the 89th minute or something? It was.
I know, and that should have been a red card. It was Anderson. Anderson clattering Hill, just disgraceful. But are we gonna? We can't hear yours. We can't hear you at all. Reboot. Try turning it off and on again. The classic IT crowd solution to all problems. I think we've got to talk at some point. I mean, okay, so for the goals, right? Irrespective of the possession, we didn't deserve to score the first goal. In my opinion, we just didn't. I was hugely relieved. It was on a platter for us. And the second one we already talked about a little bit because they finally had to try and play up the pitch a little bit, and we got behind. But their goal, how is that a goal? How is that not ruled out? I don't understand what handball is anymore. I thought I understood. I looked at the rules briefly before joining you. As far as I'm concerned, that's an obvious free kick to Spurs. I don't get it.
I didn't see anything that clearly showed it hitting his hand and being diverted. It was really totally from what I could see. I mean, if that had been given against me, I'd have been very, very unhappy because that came off his chest, pretty much went straight down.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't, Stu. It didn't.
We must have seen 150 replays of it.
It took, in certain angles you couldn't tell, but in other angles it went like this. It took 2 clear changes of direction.
Well, in that case, it should definitely be ruled out because the rules say that you cannot score a goal through having an advantage with a handball.
I mean, what does everyone else think? Did it touch the arm or not?
Can I just say, Stuart?
Yes, you can.
Matt is an astrophysicist. He's angles. He gives degrees of separation. We can't argue with him.
Am I getting trolled for being an astrophysicist?
No, you're getting kudos.
I'm getting astro-shamed again. Why is
I think there's potentially 2 things at play here. Matt is an astrophysicist and is used to looking at things in very fine detail, and I'm slightly somewhat on painkillers and drugs right now. So I could have missed it.
That sounds like an autobiography in the making, there.
Painkillers and drugs. A 1-month story.
we could do a group autobiography calling Black Holes Are Us.
But getting back to the point, Oz, nice to hear from you, by the way. It's been a while.
And to you, sorry.
Yeah.
Retrospectively.
So did the ball touch the arm or not? I thought it was obvious it did.
I thought it touched the arm, but I also thought it would have been very harsh, and if that had been against us, I would have been really pissed off.
But if it touches the arm, the rules say that's a handball.
Yeah. I agree with you.
So, I mean, that's what the rules say. That's what I was just double checking. So I was confused because I was like, well, I thought it was obvious. So apparently it wasn't, if Stu at least disagrees.
I thought it was obvious.
So apparently there was room for doubt there.
Yeah, but Matt, Stu's Parisian and you're Marseille. So, I mean, you can't believe a word they say up there.
Absolutely. What do you think, Ashley?
No, I agree with you, Matt. I actually think it was handball, and some commentator said the same thing you looked up. It doesn't matter if it's inadvertent, if it's involved in the goal. It's just like, and I thought about it. I reversed it. What Austin just said. If it had been our player, I would have said, you know what? Yeah, I can see that. So yeah, disallow. So yeah, I mean,
there's always 2 conversations to have about handball these days, isn't it? There is what the handball rule should be and what it is.
What it is, yeah.
Right. So if that touches the hand, that's the rule.
Hold our hands up and say, that was a really good hit. To hit the ball from there and get it past Vicario like that, it was a solid hit.
And I think we also have to hold on. I think Poro has to hold his hand up and say he messed that up big time.
Yeah.
That was an absolutely terrible defensive failed header.
Well, that was a Poro pre-season header. we've seen that from him before. We saw that in pre-season. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's not a tactic used more often, like put the ball up on that wing. There's two things that I think we're vulnerable on. It's the Porro on that side. But also, I know we haven't conceded a goal from a corner, but we give up a lot of chances from corners, and at some point, it's going to catch up with us.
We certainly did today. That's for sure.
Yeah. And it was the same in the last game.
I think Vicario was disappointed on the goal because I think the guy might maybe the best goalie in the Premier League right now. I think he wants to get those clean sheets. And I think he was very disappointed in that.
Elmo loves a clean sheet, as I always like to post after the game.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, you call him Elbow. I'm going to stick with Big Billy Vic. But yeah.
You know what?
Big Vic energy.
Yeah,
that's what I'm
energy.
with.
That's good. I like that.
Big Vic energy. Yeah.
At halftime, I was calling. I posted saying, asking whether or not we should bring more speed on with Johnson. When he came on, he made a difference right away. He got the header that he headed to to Madison. Yeah, and then back Madison to him, and then from him to Sonny. What a great assist. And it made a difference.
And it started with Sa. It started with Sa switching the ball from a long way out.
Beautiful.
Sa fan. Started with Sa. He touched the ball 20 minutes before. And I'm just kidding. No, he was good. But
it was actually a good bit of play because when that ball went over towards Johnson, I expected him to take a touch and not head it. And when he headed it, he suddenly opened up a different avenue for us, which I wasn't expecting us to get. And then we saw the benefit of outright pace. You know, there is no way that Richarlison would have got into that same position.
No, you're right. I think Johnson is looking like he's going to be a really, really good player. We've only seen a couple of cameos from him so far, but I just have a really good feeling about him. I think he could be an absolutely top player for us.
I mean, I'm probably being a bit harsh on him, but I thought he struggled defensively in his first game. That was only his first game, but he was trying to help out down the left with Udogie and sort of just messing it up. I don't think he was picking up particularly good positions, and I think that Richarlison obviously seems to be a better defensive choice in that area. And I was worried when he came on for Richarlison because Richarlison can scrap pretty well, and to me, Johnson, at least I've not seen his physical strength on the ball, etc. But no, I thought he was very good, and I'm happy to prove him wrong.
I think we've seen the future for him today. I think his future right now is impact sub.
Yeah,
it's a very expensive impact sub. But if you can bring someone on who's got that kind of pace and that kind of ability, and clearly he's got the ability to score goals as well, then, why not bring him on and use him against tiring legs?
It does seem to.
If you look back at Gareth Bale for 30-odd games was not abject because I saw him in his very first game against, I think it was Roma in a friendly, and he was brilliant. Mm-hmm. But he then wasn't effective for 30 games, and then suddenly he landed on the ground running as an attacking midfielder. And Johnson strikes me, and this is very, very early days, and I don't want to be committed to this, but as being potentially that sort of player that can actually destroy people when he's going forward. Because I watched him last year at Notts Forest, and I thought he was absolutely superb.
Let's hope so, Oz. Let's hope so. Clearly, we all like the comparison. Let's hope.
I am Oz the optimist, as everyone knows. So,
let's not typecast the young, pacey Welsh winger, please. Come on, that would be unfair. We don't really want to go too long tonight. We've got another video, another show coming up later on, which is going to be a very, very good, very interesting one. Not tonight. God, no, absolutely not. But later on, 2nd of November, I believe, we have a special. We have a special guest joining us. We're not going to say who it is, But if people are interested, have a few guesses. We'll see whether you get it. Luckily, we've been able to get someone in through the magic of our LA sparkling connection, otherwise known as Ash. So,
okay.
So yeah, it should be good there. We've already talked about. Sorry, go on. We've already talked about man of the match. I'd just like to finish tonight on everyone's best moments of the match. What did everyone enjoy the most? Let's start with Austin.
That's a difficult one because my stream was flickering and I was cut out more times than I was cut in. So it was very, very hard. But I guess my man of the match was probably... Oh, God.
We can come back to you.
And come back to me in a minute.
All right, okay. Let's move over to A. A, what's your moment of the match?
Moment of the match.
I think it was the second goal was amazing. It was the highlight of the game. A very tough game, very hard on the body, lots of commitment, but that was a moment of class. So
I'm going to come to Matt last because I've got a feeling our moment of the match might be exactly the same. So, Ash, what's yours?
I agree with A. It actually ended up being the winner because they did score, and it really was a piece of brilliance and commitment, and great to see our captain score again. Yeah, that was the winner. So yeah, I agree with A. That was the moment of the match.
Okay, Austin?
And the final whistle.
I'm going with a combination of the two central defenders. Because I thought Mickey van der Ven was absolutely sensational tonight. I thought he was brilliant. And I think the Argentinian is absolutely superb. I just think they are going to leave the Tongan and Toby Alderweireld standing in terms of their relationship. I really, really enjoy watching them play because they're both, well, Van der Ven is fast, Vicario is ruthless, and I just think they're fucking brilliant. That's technical. I wouldn't swear on video, but they're fucking brilliant.
Good job we can't see you.
Kind of just did, but never mind.
No, it's on audio.
Okay,
It's
I'm gonna give mine, and then Matt, you tell me whether yours is different. My moment of the match, big Bentancur coming on.
Oh, awesome.
Loved it.
Yeah, it was good.
It was great.
Matt, what was your moment of the match?
It wasn't any of those. Different call from all of you. Although that was great. And I think that there aren't many good moments in this match because it was...
Just before you go, everyone, I do know Mickey Hazard reasonably well, and I could probably ask Mickey if he'd want to join us for one of these.
That wasn't
I'm not sure we're calling Mickey Hazard anymore. I believe it's Mickey Hazard 578
might be
or 528 is where you have to refer to him. But yeah,
it was save.
Yeah, happily get Mickey on.
I'll ask Mickey. I'll see if we can get him into CADS.
I mean, that would be acceptable, Oz. Highly acceptable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
right, thanks everyone. Have a good evening.
Thanks at that point.
Thanks Matt.
Cheers.
Bye. Take care.
Apparently there were 3 shots with no, I guess in the end there would have been 3 shots to them and 1 shot to us. We scored 2 goals from 1 shot on all game, if I remember correctly. Maybe there was something else afterwards, but at one point we'd only had 1 shot and 2 goals. But yeah, so I think that one of those rare moments, and it was Vicario's save. I thought it was outstanding. Elmo's save.
Yeah, Vicario coming up big for us once again.
He is a very good goalkeeper.
He is.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be up there with the... I remember Bill Brown, I remember Pat Jennings, Ray Clements, obviously, and all the others. I think Vicario is going to be up there with the best.
It's outstanding.
It's hard to disagree at the moment.
The best shots saves per shot, or whatever it was, best stops per shot in the
certainly
league.
It was until the goal went in. Yeah. Whether that stat has stood up for that, I don't know. But he had another very, very good game. Good to see Son scoring as well and keeping up his run of 6 goals this season now.
8. 8,
even better. But he's
6
got something
away
like
from home.
Something recently. He's got double the amount of goals that his XG would put him normally.
Wow.
Would put him at normally. That's incredible.
That's his normal territory. Apart from last season, he's
Yeah.
a monster of goals per XG in general. Apart from last season,
but those are Messi kind of numbers, which is impressive. So
and 6 away from home.
Yeah.
That's the most away from home in the league. That's all. 6 goals away from home.
Most of our games have been away from goal, and we're, say it together, top of the league.
Top of the league, 5 points. No, I know that we've got a game in hand.
Yes.
Everyone else has got a game in hand on us, but there's 5 points on the board. Done. No one can catch us in this round of games. I was getting a bit worried. I thought that we were going to get a draw. We didn't really deserve more than a draw for a long while. But we made it. 5 points. Unbelievable.
All right,
no one can get ahead of us for 2 games.
There we go. So as I said, we've got a special show next week, which we will be recording. Just Matt, Ash, myself, and a special guest. And then we'll be doing another team call, do all the CADs together, as many as we can get anyway, to come in, talk about the recent run. And then the call after that will, of course, be the after Chelsea game. So
do you not trust Oz to talk to our special guest?
Well, I think we want to kind of keep the circle small on this one. Special.
Okay.
Exactly.
Oh.
So there we go. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thank you for coming. As I said earlier on, please leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, share, all those good things. And come on, you Spurs.